It's David.
It's Phil.
Special guest,
Ryan.
Two guys, one garage. Garage. Talking about the universe. Let's do this.
Booyah.
Good evening.
It begins.
Special guest tonight.
Hello, it's me, Ryan.
It's Ryan. Our mutual friend Ryan. Universe fanatic.
I love it.
PhD, claimed earlier.
PhD, Masters of Science. Not really.
He's full of
Just a
bullshit.
fake- just a fake one.
Oh, I see. I would never have known.
This guy's an asshole. So Ryan, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys? It's good to be here, by the way.
Hey, I tell you what, your mother. Well, it's good to have you here.
Get used to it, because you're going to be coming back.
Got some time off. I'm dabbling in this. I like it.
Ryan is our first guest.
I'm so proud. It's a
Are you
good
proud?
moment. Oh, it's a good moment. I'm loving it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good.
Hit the big time now, eh?
Oh, this is it. I've made it. I have arrived.
You are in the garage, my friend.
I'm in the garage.
Just say garage, garage,
I think
garage, garage.
just change it every week. Let's look up all
Every
the different
time.
languages. Yeah.
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Except
Spanish, French.
Not if it's a first time listener though, then I think I'm mentally insane or something if I start speaking in different languages.
Mate, if they're first time listener and they hear you say that, they're going to be a long time listener, aren't they, really, in the end?
This is something I'll consider. So, tell me and the audience
All them listeners.
about your love for the universe. Where did it start? Because I remember a few years back when you started getting into astronomy. Astronomy in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, obviously you were telling us about these science programs you're watching and your interest in things.
That's where it started. It was like, well, you've seen them on the History Channel and what have you. I mean, History Channel's gone downhill now, let's be honest. But that's where it started. The actual program called The Universe, and I just got so hooked on the stars, the solar system, the sun, the universe, black holes, blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. And I just watched them, and I just got so addicted to them. Watched them while I was working away or whatever, and I found myself learning more and more about it. Kind of a sort of an amateur kind of enthusiast slash expert, maybe. Maybe.
Definitely.
Some claim. And I just kind of went from there really, and got myself a telescope, started looking at the stars and everything.
I've got a question about telescopes.
Go for it.
How, good are they? Do you just see exactly the same quality shit as what you see with your eyes?
No, it depends
isolated.
what telescope really, because I've got a really crap one. It's I can say shit. It's like
Yeah, you can swear all you want.
Oh, yeah.
This is an explicit podcast. Swear all the
it's
fuck you want,
explicit.
man.
So yeah, I've got like a telescope, but it's not like a very good one. It's just like
So you can see any
yeah, you can
outstanding features.
So
you know
say
what I mean?
if I was going to look at Saturn
yeah.
or Jupiter, I could see the moons around it.
What?
Yeah, they're just like little dots, but they're not like anything special. It's it's kind of brilliant seeing it with your own eyes, and like Saturn, you can see its rings.
That's amazing.
Well, Galileo, when he first looked at it, he said it had ears. Saturn had ears because that's what it looked like through his telescope that he made himself back in like the, I don't know when it was, 1200s, 1300s. I'm sure someone will correct us.
I'm sure somebody will.
on the comments. But yeah, that's where it all started, and since then, really just went from there.
I remember a few months back when Jupiter was really bright in the sky, and obviously with me being a bird watcher, I tried to use my spotting scope to look up at the sky, but I had to tilt it so much I was lying on the floor, looking up, and all I could see was just this bright light, and I just thought, nah, this isn't working.
That's what I
more.
expected telescopes to be like, just giving you just non-identifiable
No,
features.
but do you know what
just,
it is?
just
But do you know what it
It's
is?
so hard to find Jupiter as well.
Binoculars, right? Binoculars are sometimes just as good as some like shit around telescopes. So if you've got a good set of binoculars, have a look up. Have a look at the moon through a telescope. Fucking hell, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the telescope that I've got brings out the moon perfect. You can see all the craters on it and everything, man. It's unbelievable.
Jesus
It's brilliant.
Christ.
Going off on a slight tangent here, but I want to talk about this now. So while we're talking about the moon, what do you think about the whole man going to the moon thing?
Oh, like the controversy between that. Well, I'm still like sitting on the fence about it, to be honest with you. I do think a man has actually went to the moon, but I'm really like sort of thinking, was Neil Armstrong the first? Buzz Aldrin? Not quite sure, but I do think men have actually gone to the moon. But I think it was a lot of thing about the Americans beating the Russians to the, as for the moon race, space race. Yeah.
So what about the footage though?
I don't know enough about the subject to comment properly and like give a sort of informed opinion on it. But I mean, it did look like the flag was blown in the wind,
I think
and there is no wind. Let's be honest.
the wind just looks the footage to me just looks like a pile of shit. You've seen the footage, Phil?
Yeah, it does look really fake, but a good point that Neil deGrasse Tyson made
Uh-huh.
was that it probably looks like really fucking strange to it because we're not used to in any way like those conditions. You know what I mean? Like the way that the astronauts like bounce up and down just looks totally fake, but at the end of the day that's 1/6 the gravity of Earth, so no wonder it looks totally alien to it because it's totally alien like not planet like
there's some people say the shadows were off as well on
the shadows,
the shadows were off the wreck, that's what they say, but
I've heard the opposite though. I've heard that the shadows actually back up the theory that it wasn't faked.
Well,
there might be aspects of footage actually.
See, like I say, I don't know enough about the subject to make an informed like comment on it or anything like that. That could be another for another day. That would be a good.
Without a doubt, we love our conspiracies.
We do.
Fuck yeah.
We love our conspiracies here at Two Guys One Garage.
3 guys. Just for the day. You'll be a recurring guest.
I'm sure I will.
We do want to get more.
We'll see how it goes, guys.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
I'm a Two Guys One Garage virgin here.
You could be a complete dick and we'll have to kick you out of the garage, man.
This might be edited. I might be edited out.
You'll be edited right out. Right, so today we're going to start by talking about space and time. Space-time. Come on, Ryan.
Space and time. Right, well this is kind of a good basis for this, right? Like I say, I'm just an amateur, I'm not an expert. And I know more than most people, but less than some. So space and time. Space, we think of space as as going in outer space, floating around as an astronaut. That's one thing we can think of space about. Time, we think of time as 10 minutes until the finish of work and all that sort of thing. But space-time, we're talking about Einstein's space-time. Let's talk about that. Space-time as a fabric and being warped by celestial bodies' mass. So Einstein said that space and time were inexplicably linked. So if you think of it as a fabric, like a material, and like a heavy object sitting on that fabric, it would warp, wouldn't it? The fabric. If you laid out a sheet, pulled it really tight, laid a bowling ball in the middle, it would warp it, and that's exactly how the sun is. And if you shot like a marble at that on that sheet, it would spin round, and that's kind of how orbits and planets orbit, basically. There's some good videos I've got which you can put the links on so people can have a look at if they want to have a look at it. And that kind of gives you the basis of how to think about it. And the other thing about space and time is Einstein again equals mc squared, which is energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. But the speed of light squared doesn't really, all you really need to know is E equals m. So energy equals mass. So like basically light is energy, so that can be the same as mass. So there's a lot of people who said like you can convert light into actual matter, into mass, because light is matter really, but it's not, like, it hasn't got any weight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
how the fuck would that work? Because isn't it described as like is that what they describe as a wave particle thing?
Yeah, it is. There's loads of different theories about it now kicking about, but classical general relativity, what Einstein said was E equals m. Forget about the c squared for a bit. So energy is mass, mass is energy. So if you Think about this: the atomic bomb, they split the atom, right? Think about that little tiny atom and what it creates, that big massive explosion. Mass equals energy. That's exactly its principle, and that's general relativity brought about the Manhattan Project and the atomic bomb. So that's what the basis of that is, really.
Is light not regarded as having no mass though?
It is, but light is energy. So what they're saying is,
But if energy is because equals just means the same as, doesn't it? So
yeah. So like,
just being a dick here.
so it can't. I know you're playing devil's advocate, but it can. Mass can be converted to energy, and energy can be converted to mass. They kind of haven't converted the energy to mass yet. I think I'm right in saying that. I'm not 100% sure.
So in theory, you could even argue that like the potential energy of a light is just like infinite.
Well,
energy.
you see on all these science fiction things, the plasma guns and stuff like that, on Halo and all that sort of stuff, right? That's kind of a little bit of a principle. Light being turned into matter and killing people with it, you know? That's kind of the concept. Think of it that way.
Like a lightsaber.
Like a lightsaber, exactly.
Can't forget Star Wars when we're talking about the universe.
That's a perfect thing. Like harnessing the power of light as mass.
Right.
But they've converted mass into energy. They just need to do it the other way around.
That's crazy.
Thing anyway. Because the atomic bomb is living proof.
Yeah.
You know? But that's, if you read in Einstein's relativity, that's exactly what it is.
Those
It's
atom bombs
interesting.
and things just they're amazing then. When you see the footage of them going off and the damage they do, it's just insane.
Scary shit.
It's mad.
Well,
Really
look what happens in the core of stars as well. Instead of splitting the atom, they fuse two together, and that's what causes.
What's that called again? That's
fusion.
Fusion, then the other one's fission.
Yeah. Fusion and fission. So nuclear fusion is what ITAR. If you look at ITAR, ITAR, it's happening in France. They make it's the main thing for the leading contender for a nuclear fusion reactor. They say that's one in England's gonna be the main runner, but I don't think it is. This is going to be this one in France called ITAR.
So the whole nuclear bomb that's fusion or fission?
Fission.
Fission.
They split an atom and they cause this massive explosion.
That's fission.
That's fission. And fusion, like when in nuclear power plants, that's what they do. They split atoms and stuff. But nuclear fusion is what happens in the core of stars, and that's like unlimited because they're fusing two hydrogen atoms together and causing this massive like amount of energy. And they're trying to create that on Earth, but they'll never ever get the same pressure as what's in the core of a star. So you actually have to heat it more on Earth than what it would be in the core of a star. That's
crazy.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I've just got so many fucking questions now.
Well,
just
fire them away. I'll try and answer them the best I can. Like I say, I'm no expert, but I know a little bit about it.
Right. Here's one question I'd like to know. Excuse me, Mark. You've got, you know how planets form, like we assume by
the conservation of angular momentum, yeah.
Yeah, like matter, grouping together and forming these like our planet, like being a rocky, so like rocks smashing each other, and then there you've got a planet, like a big ball of rock. What about like the sun? You know, it's made up of like hydrogen and helium in my head. That's what I believe. Not like my fucking crazy head, like I believe the sun's made up. No, I mean like that's what I assume it's made up of. It's hydrogen.
Well, basically,
and helium. So my question is, how does like all these atoms of hydrogen form? Like, lads, come over here, let's make a star. You know what I mean? I don't understand how that.
What happened was when the solar system is just the product of a massive supernova. So when a supernova kicks out all this stuff, right? Because basically the universe, when it first started, the Big Bang, it was pretty much just. This is not technically correct, but for argument's sake, matter and particles were created, and it was basically just hydrogen and helium. There wasn't anything else.
Two of the most abundant.
Yeah, the most abundant elements, really.
Yeah.
So that's why the sun is mostly that. Because what will happen is, right, if you've got a gas cloud, a massive, huge gas cloud, thousands of light years across, and then all of a sudden it just gets a kick from maybe a far-off supernova, and gravity starts taking effect, and the conservation of angular momentum just makes it spiral into each other, then it's mostly hydrogen and helium. The only way you can get other elements is from a supernova. They're created in the core of stars. So gold, carbon, iron, all of that was created in a supernova. So everything that we're made of, the carbon atoms in our blood cells, they were made from stars.
Yeah.
We're made from stardust.
We're made from stardust.
Yeah.
So
It's
like,
amazing fact that.
so-
Think about.
so like iron, all the heavy elements like uranium, the uranium that you find on Earth, that was created in a supernova. Actually, a Type 1A supernova, because there's two different ones. You can have just. I'm going off on a tangent here. Let's just talk about what we're talking about. So you've got that comes in, and what happens is when the pressure becomes great enough, and it becomes hot enough, that ball of gas ignites, and that's when nuclear fusion ensues, and that is what creates a star. So if Jupiter was a bit bigger, that could have probably been a star as well, really. If it was a bit bigger, maybe 8 times bigger or something, then it would have been, the gravity in its core would have been big enough, and all the hydrogen and helium and everything would have started, well, the hydrogen would have fused together, and then once it's used all its hydrogen, then helium, and then it starts fusing carbon and all that sort of crap.
So if Jupiter's a gas giant, and it's like a magnet, isn't it, to everything that's flying past it, because its gravity's so
big,
strong. What's it its calling?
Probably just like rock, but
rock?
It really
But not
it's
much.
just not much,
Like a molten rock.
I don't think so. I think it's too cold to be molten. I don't think it'll be molten because the Earth's not heated by anything. It's still cooling. That's why it's got a molten iron core, and we've got like an atmosphere, a magnetic atmosphere. But maybe Jupiter has got a molten core, because I know it's got a magnetosphere. That's the biggest thing in the solar system, not the sun. Jupiter's magnetosphere stretches right out past Pluto, I think. The actual I suppose, the magnetosphere of Jupiter stretches right out. But yeah, I don't know if it'll be molten, I'm not sure. But I don't know how the magnetosphere is created on Jupiter, I'm not sure. But it is just mostly gas, and that's it really. But if it had been a bigger mass, it probably would have ended up the sun.
It's pretty amazing how, out of all the planets in our solar system, we're the only sort of one that we know of that's full of life.
Yeah. Well, there's theories, you know, conspiracy theories. There's theories that Mars, it probably would have been exactly like Earth.
But it's had its time.
But it's had its day. And Venus maybe was at one point as well, and that's had its day as well, but it just so happens that Earth is in at this moment in time. Because remember, we're only like, humans have only been here for like, what, 60, 70,000 years?
Yeah.
And like,
It's like 100,000 years.
yeah, or however long we've been anyway.
Like anatomically.
Yeah, the humans, like, or living things have only been here, say, I don't know, 500 million years. And you've got to think how long the Earth's like 5 billion years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, who's not to say when that Earth was hot and molten and awful, like I suppose Venus is now, that Mars wasn't?
Yeah.
Mars wasn't all lush and
Yeah.
because they found deposits in the soil on Mars which say there was water at one point and frozen carbon dioxide and stuff like that. So
And that massive, I love that. Hasn't it got like the biggest volcano or something? Like a volcano that's
yeah,
much bigger than
Olympus Mons. Yeah, it's the
than anything on
biggest
Earth.
volcano in the solar system.
Yeah.
And the
Dormant,
I don't know what the
Yeah.
I don't know what they call the canyon there, but I mean, you're talking the canyon. I don't know what it's called on Mars, but it's about, I'm guessing here, I don't know the exact figures, but I know it's at least like 6 times the size of the Grand Canyon. It's like really, really long as well and huge.
Do you remember that face? The face of Mars?
Yeah,
that
the face
turned
of
up?
Mars. Yeah, it was like
Few
an
years back.
alien sort of face thing.
It's an alien message. They're trying to contact us.
Let's reach out.
Do you believe in aliens? Tangent.
Gotta be something.
Do you believe in the greys like we're talking about a few
Not
episodes
sure.
back?
Not sure.
Not sure?
Sitting on the fence.
Sitting on the fence.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
But there's got to be intelligent life. Like, I
Yeah.
don't mean intelligent life like in microbes and stuff like that. I mean like, you know, cat size or something like along those lines that eats and it breathes and things like that.
Do you think that it's
Europa. That's where that's the best chance for life closest
That's
to
one
us.
of Jupiter's moons. Is that right?
Jupiter's largest moon, I think. Am I
Yeah.
correct in saying? I think, and
That's
it's
because
just
of water, though.
it's
isn't
just a
it?
sheet of ice, and it's actually because of Jupiter's gravitational tidal forces. The center of the middle of the planet is still got like water, and it's not like a solid block of ice, because Jupiter's gravity keeps pulling it, and all the other moons going around pulling it one way and pulling it the other. It's squashing like that, and it's got water inside. So they reckon if they drill down
Deep enough, they'll find something.
I mean, I think it's 6 mile deep or something. It's
The ice.
quite, yeah, it's quite like
Wow.
it's quite big. Have a look at the Europa Report, the film. It's
Is it like a
Europa
documentary?
Report is no, it's like
It's
a
a film.
sci-fi thing, but apparently they found life on Europa, and
The new
they all die.
the new Christopher Nolan film looks quite good.
Interstellar, yeah, looks excellent.
Which is
Matthew
about-
McConaughey.
Isn't that about life? Mankind
It's-
trying to find.
Interstellar travel, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like going beyond the stars and everything like that. Which I suppose
Think that's possible?
definitely
Yeah.
these fusion reactors. They need to get these kicked off, because as soon as they get fusion reactors, the sooner they can put them into spaceships, and
Mm-hmm.
we can get even if we get right, even if we get like 70% the speed of light, like, and that's like, I mean, that's a lot to ask as well. If we get 70% the speed of light, we can get to Alpha Centauri. We can get there. You know what I mean?
Where's
Aye,
that?
like, what,
Well,
it'll
where they
take, like,
said
20 years.
where they said it'll take about 20 years, but if you're traveling at the speed of light, which brings me nicely onto my next thing, talking about
4
time
years.
travel, right?
Dun, dun, dun.
Da, 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 da.
By the way, we'll just pause that for 1 second. Alpha Centauri is where the fictional moon for Avatar was.
Right. Okay.
That's the closest star to our star.
4.5 light years away. Alpha Centauri is. It's like a twin star system, and they've got like. I think they found planets going around it. I'm not 100%.
And they got big ass blue bitches.
Yeah,
Oh, hell yeah, dog.
sexy blue bitches. Anyway,
Time travel.
talking about time travel, right? And let's link gravity into this as well, because it's.
You know what,
they're
let's
both
do that.
linked.
Let's
both
go
link.
for it, man.
So
Balls to the wall.
So let's have a talk about gravity again. We're talking about we're big sheet with where we're gravitational, where my mass warping the fabric of space time.
Uh huh.
Well, Einstein again, that little German genius that he is.
Austrian?
Whatever.
Put down like a little wango on it.
Yeah,
Gotta be now.
I don't care.
Fuck Phil, he's a fucking asshole. Piece of shit. It'd be class if he wasn't Austrian as well.
I don't even know what he is. I'm not even
he's
sure.
not Austrian, you fucking asshole. That's Hitler. So fuck you, Phil.
That's Hitler. I can't believe you got Einstein and Hitler mixed up.
Yeah.
But anyway,
The sheep.
I was just telling Phil, the more mass something has,
Mhm.
right, the slower time travels
Right.
on that object. So
Mhm.
hypothetically, if you could stand on a black hole, your time would travel a hell of a lot slower than the people looking from the outside. So I saw it on a Stephen Hawking documentary. If you orbited the black hole around the center of our galaxy, orbit it for 8 minutes, right? It would feel like 8 minutes for you. And for me, looking outside, it would 16 minutes would pass. So like half the time would elapse.
Yeah.
So if you stayed there for 10 years, it would feel like 20 years for me. So I would age 20 years and you would only age 10.
Wow.
And this links it perfectly. And you know how I was saying energy equals mass, right? So mass slows down time, right? And if you're traveling at the speed of light, that also slows down time as well. Because the speed of light is the physical time limit, speed limit for anything. You
Right.
cannot go faster than the speed
So
of
you're
light.
traveling the speed of light. You're not gonna age. Or time's not gonna.
Yeah, because, for example, if you were on a train traveling the speed of light and you walked up that train,
Yeah.
the laws of physics would slow down time so that you weren't traveling faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
So therefore, they've slowed down time for you,
Mhm.
but everyone else would still see the train traveling at the speed of light.
Yeah.
So
Just like
therefore-
if you're on a
Yeah.
train now, that's going
Yeah, so it's, if you
100 miles
travelled,
an hour.
if you travelled on a train going around the Earth,
Yeah.
and it went around for 10 years, I think I'm not sure of the ratio. it would feel like 100 years would pass for the people on the outside,
But it wouldn't change for you.
but it would only be 10 years
10
for
years,
you.
yeah.
So like you've time travelled.
Wow. So time travel is possible.
Well, it is possible.
It is
yeah,
possible.
but just
Maybe it's
not the past, unfortunately.
But however, could we do that like as physical bodies though? Because can't something that has mass not actually accelerate to the speed of light?
They say 99% the speed of light. That's what they say the speed of light, but they mean 99.9% the speed of light. Because if you were travelling at the speed of light, it's physically impossible because something with mass would need to travel the speed of light would need an infinite amount of energy to propel you that far. So it's just impossible to do. You can't do it. So they always say 99.9% the speed of light, which would pretty much do the trick.
So then, how would you propose that we would? Oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm asking this question. NASA scientist here, Mr. Ryan. How would you actually get a human? Like, would it just be consciousness, our consciousness, that would be able to travel that speed in theory?
No, like if you were travelling on a train, and even if it was travelling 70% the speed of light, it'd still do the trick. Still do the fucking job. You'd travel in the future. You just wouldn't. You'd have to scale it back. I'm just talking figures, for example. If you are travelling at the speed of light, be on a train for 10 years, could pass 100 years for people looking on the outside. It might only be a year, actually. I think that's the ratio, 1 to 100. I think, I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the Stephen Hawking documentary, which we'll put the link on, guys, so you can see that.
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, the time travel documentary is excellent.
It was
Stephen Hawking's universe.
It was it something to do with not last weekend, the weekend before? Was it Space Week or Space Weekend or something? Cause
I don't know.
I was watching TV channel Pick,
Hmm.
which was I think it was the universe that had that on all day.
Yeah, they've got loads of the universes. Actually, I think they're on season 9 or something now, but they're brilliant. Them.
Yeah.
The first season is brilliant. It talks about the sun and how the sun has 11-year cycles and things like that. So like basically it gets more active every 11 years.
Right.
Which means you get more solar storms and more aurora borealis, northern lights and things like that. Loads of stuff really interesting. It goes through each one of the planets.
Do you know what I love? The fact that we think the sun is huge, but then when you compare it to there's bodies out there that are so much bigger than the sun. The sun's just a speck of dust.
VY Canis Majoris.
Is that the biggest one?
Hell, that
Huge.
is some size. That, mind you.
There's this amazing video on the well, there's loads of them, but
and it
I've seen
zooms into them.
Yeah, it shows you like the
brilliant.
moon, then the Earth, and then fucking Venus, and then it just gets bigger. And then
You can't see Earth anymore.
Yeah, literally can't see it all. It's just unbelievable. Like it's scares you shitless. Thinking, fucking hell, this thing's actually
so it's like
that size.
if you were comparing it, like the sun would be like a house compared to the size of like the Earth or something like that. That's how stupid the ratio is compared to the size of it. So it's just crazy.
I'm going to go into speculation territory here. What do you?
We'll have a bit of speculation.
What do you think is outside of the universe?
Beautiful question.
Right.
Deep question.
Right.
Because I can't even fathom what could be beyond the
There
universe.
is nothing outside the universe because when we talk about space and time, right? Space and time was created. It's like talking about what was before the Big Bang. Well, there was nothing before the Big Bang because not just all the particles and things were created. Space and time itself was created.
But where? What was?
There was just nothing. There was no time. There was no space. There was nothing.
Where the Big Bang was created and born, however you want to term it. What was that in? It just I cannot work it out in my head.
Well, think about it now, right? There's
nothing there.
in the quantum world, right? Let's talk about quantum physics just for a second. I'm not very good on quantum physics because it's so strange, right? But particles pop in and out of existence in the quantum world, right?
I've heard that before, yeah.
Yeah, they just pop in and out of existence, and when they start to harness that, you'll see computers just take off, and I'll talk about that in a bit if you want us to.
I can't work it out, man.
So, like, if for example, if one particle popped in,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden something weird just happened, then see, no one knows. This is where the God thing comes in. Did God just create it and let it do its thing, or
at the end of the day, we're just civilized monkeys.
We just don't know. We just don't know.
We don't know enough. We really don't know enough.
I believe, personally, my personal opinion, there was nothing, and it was created by accident by someone, by a higher being. Maybe, I don't know. What I don't know, what I can't test, I don't know. So I'm not going to speculate on that. But then after that, I know what happens. Space and time was created, and so it is. And that is just everything. Unless you want to talk about multiverses.
Yes, but first I've got a question. So do you believe in the possibility of a godlike entity?
I suppose it is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very... See, am I an atheist if I think there's a higher being? I don't know. I just don't think anyone's got it right on Earth yet.
There's definitely like some kind of like...
And that's just my
higher
opinion.
level
It's
than
not the
us.
opinions of the show, by the way.
There's definitely like some kind of like consciousness note just in the fact that physics exists and things in this universe always like behave according to those specific laws of physics.
Yeah, so
those
yeah,
rules
yeah.
in themselves are almost like a god in themselves.
So did God do that? I don't know. Maybe he did.
Yeah, because like why are the laws set the way they are?
Because
You
you
know,
think
that's-
about us. You think about us as humans, the human race. We are the universe trying to figure out the universe.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
we
we're
are
just
the universe.
we're just carbon. You know,
the stars,
we're
the
just
stardust, as we
stardust.
mentioned,
We're just bits and pieces of the universe. The electrical impulses in our brains have a soul, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Whether people want to call it that, they're just electrical impulses. They're just laws of physics. They can be manipulated, and like that is just who you are. Because I believe when you die, you just die, and like the electrical impulses stop, and your heart stops beating, and that's just you. You know, ashes to ashes, and all that sort of thing, and then.
Yeah.
And we're just the universe trying to work itself out a little bit. We're all parts.
In the words of David Icke, we are infinite consciousness.
I was waiting for that
consciousness. All that is, all that was, and all that ever will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Believe
made up
it.
of the universe. Everything's interconnected. We're all just chemicals and that kinds of thing.
So
mixtures of-
you could talking about multiverses and say like, well, what of the because there's this new theory, a little bit of a new theory anyway. There's a lot of different multiverse theories. Like you know, say our decision was not to do this podcast tonight. That's a branch off,
Yeah,
like a tree
yeah.
branch. Do you know what I mean? You know that one, don't you? And some of them run parallel, some of them cross back over, some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's one theory, and that's a really old one. But one theory now is that there's like think of it like a pint of beer, and there's loads of little bubbles in that pint of beer, and they're all universes like ours. And they've all got different laws of physics, and ours is just one of the lucky ones where life has managed to flourish, you know. So there could be a law of physics, a universe where the laws of physics say that gravity does not function at all. So there's matter just floating about everywhere, and it's just not doing anything.
Nothing
just
condenses, no
nothing,
planets, just
nothing.
space.
Yeah, exactly, just shit. Or there could be a one where gravity's taken like really like a hold, and there's just black holes everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just, and you know, there's loads of possibilities. Or that there's not gravity, like, because we could talk about dark matter if I wanted to, but we'd be going pretty deep. Like they say, dark matter is what's kind of because there's not enough gravity in the galaxies to hold them together like it is. So they say the dark matter makes up like, I don't know, 70% of the universe, and that's what's holding the gravities together. All this other matter which has a gravitational attraction.
Everybody should be familiar with the idea of multiverse because it's on Family Guy enough.
Yeah, it is, yeah. You're right. You're right.
I think it's amazing though, because I mean, imagine if it was real and there was multiverses and every action had a reaction somewhere else.
Yeah. Like the butterfly effect
Like
type
the
of thing.
butterfly effect, yeah.
It's a good film though.
great.
Haven't seen it.
Fantastic film.
Trippy, isn't it?
Haven't seen that film.
I haven't seen it.
Get it watched. Listeners, get it watched. Great film.
I know it's got Ashton Kutcher in it, isn't
It's
it?
actually one of his better performances.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his.
Oh, he's a bit of a tipper. It's
Yeah.
definitely
Bit of an
Yeah,
asshole.
it's really good
Definitely
film.
worth the watch. Yeah. But I mean, talking about gravity and things like that, Phil's dying for black hole talk. He's dying for black.
hell yeah!
Yeah, but that's a different sort of black hole Phil wants to talk about.
I've got a question though about like gravity and stuff.
Go for
Isn't
it.
that
mate.
something? Like obviously there must be like competing theories on like gravity, what it's all about, where it comes from, like why it behaves the way it does. But isn't like some branch of science trying to like identify like almost like a particle gravitons or something like that? Are they proven to exist? So like, you know, on the quantum level.
Yeah, there's always like someone trying to discover something from somewhere. So like the smallest particle they've found at the minute, I think.
It's a quark.
Quark, yeah. There's 3 quarks, and they're all connected by gluons. But see, what they're saying is like, in another multiverse, there might be like 5 quarks. Do you know what I mean? Because 3 quarks make up a proton.
Yeah.
And then obviously protons make up an atom, and protons and neutrons and electrons. So 3 quarks. I think you've got 2 up and 1 down, and that's what they call them. They just call them up and down quarks. And I think there's other names for them as well. But these 2 ups and 1 down quarks make up this proton, and they're connected by gluons. I don't think they're particles. I think they're just like forces of attraction, and they make the proton, which is then makes up the atom type of thing. And that's the kind of smallest thing they've kind of found so far. Yeah, I mean, they can't see them because obviously they're smaller than a wave of light, so it's not going to reflect back. The light's not going to reflect back. Obviously, you can't see them with your bare eyes. But they just obviously detected them on some fucking supercomputer, like the Large Hadron Collider or some shit.
Yeah.
Presumably you're familiar with like string theory there. Not like familiar at the point where you can describe it, but like, you must have heard of it.
I've heard of string theory, and like I
vibrations.
Totally don't
buy
get it. I don't get it. I just don't like. It's just too much for us to take in. Yeah, as much as I'm a fanatic, string theory just baffles us. Like the way they go on about it, and like these vibrating strings, and then when a string touches the universe is born, and like every 10 seconds one new one's born. I fucking don't know.
It's interesting shit.
Until they start explaining it's simpler, I have fucking no idea.
Just because I was thinking, if there was like particles that could describe gravity, would that throw out like Einstein's idea of it being like this fabric effect?
Yeah, definitely, definitely,
and then we'd be fucking back to square one with it.
But think about it. Though.
What gravity is.
But think about it though. Newton described gravity as an attraction, so that everything had an attraction. You had an attraction to men. Well, I'm a floaty boat, son. But yeah, like if you were in space, you'd have an attraction. But then that was just like Newton, probably the greatest genius ever to walk the face of the earth, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, better than anyone nowadays, like Einstein and everything. He was 22-year-old man came up with Principia Mathematica. 22-year-old, like made his own calculus. What the fuck? Who does that? Oh yeah, I just did that just because I couldn't work something out, so I just made this.
Fascinating.
What the fuck? And they still use it now?
Yeah.
But and even him, someone as bright as him, got it wrong. So Einstein could have it wrong. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So there's always, if someone proves something and they've got evidence to back it up, then how can you say it's wrong? You'll get sticklers who will say, no, general relativity. Yeah. It's like classical. Yeah, you can't fucking. Einstein's a genius. Yeah, he's a fucking genius, absolute genius. But that was our understanding at the time. Now things have gone forward. So
that's it. I mean, as humans, we're constantly evolving. We're constantly learning new things all the time.
And that makes me wonder: are we ever or are we even capable of one day finding out what happens when you die? Is that a possibility? That's what I'd like to know. Like, are we actually capable of advancing our thinking and our knowledge that far one day where we'll be able to just say, oh yeah, we can actually calculate what happens when you die. We can use maths to prove exactly what happens when you die.
Probably. That's the honest answer from me. Probably. To be honest with you, when you get so far advanced, you'd probably end up destroying yourselves anyway by, I don't know, nano technology taking over. That's a
scary thought.
Yeah, taking over and just harvesting all the suns and stuff like that. So that's another scary fact. Because I was saying, like, if put it this way, if you made like nanotechnology, like a robot that could copy itself,
that's fucking shit scary.
And like within a week, it would be the size of the Earth. The swarm of robots that could do that.
Yeah, because 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes
exactly.
16, and just
well,
doubles.
It's to the power of, isn't it? You know, so 1 to the power of however many.
It's like just cells, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, cells, like a virus.
Yeah.
Like humans, virus.
We are a bit of a virus on the planet, aren't we?
Yeah, we just go to one area and repopulate and populate and populate until all the resources are gone, and then we just go somewhere else. I'll find somewhere else to get my food.
It's just, I think I was saying to Phil a few podcasts back, I think there kind of needs to be an epidemic that kind of wipes out a lot of people for the sake of the planet.
Let's be honest, this is a really, really controversial subject. But yes, there does need to be a pandemic, something along those lines, which I hope we don't get caught up in.
Who knows, maybe the Illuminati's planning it.
See, but then, that's what you always hear, don't you? Like, they want to chop down the population down to, 100,000 people or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But then,
and then you've heard about this guy making a bird flu virus that can transfer to humans, and we haven't got a cure for it. So what the fuck? Who does that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've made a bird flu virus that the vaccine that you made for it. Sorry, that doesn't work against it now. I know it can be easily transferred to humans as well. No problem. What the fuck have you done that for, you idiot?
It's absolutely mad. It's for fucking awful human beings, aren't we?
We
really are terrible things.
Just stop this podcast now. I'm going on to hug my children.
So what do you think happens after death? Do you think energy just dies? Because Einstein said that all energy can't die. He said it can't die. So where does it go?
Well, your body, I suppose. I mean,
your physical shell.
Your physical shell just goes back to carbon, doesn't it? And it's just what it is. So I don't know. I suppose energy, electrical impulses in your brain. It's got to go somewhere, hasn't it? Unless it's just discharged to the earth again. And
I wonder if there was a way that, and this is totally hypothetical, but it kind of goes back to that ghost thing we were talking about on a few shows back. What if that energy is somehow like that is the soul? Do you think that energy could have a consciousness or not?
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible in this, but like you say, you can't comment. You can only give like sort of opinions and guesses, and just until I'm very much of like, we need some fucking proof right sat in front of her. Like,
because if you had like a rigid belief on that topic, you'd sound like a bit of a fucking dick, wouldn't you?
Well,
you'd sound like a bit mental. Like
everyone's entitled to their
like,
opinion, and this is what the internet's all about, isn't it? Like,
but if you thought that you'd figured it out, you would be like, what? Who's this guy to claim we're definitely
we'll get this
when, like this happens when we're dying?
This guy, right? This guy, exactly what you're saying, right? Back, I don't know how many years ago it was, but he said he could measure the weight of a soul.
43 grams or something.
Something like that, anyway.
The weight of what? A sun?
Yeah.
The weight of a soul.
A soul.
So he actually got people... If you Google this now, right? Google the guy who weighed souls or whatever, right? And he actually... thought he could measure it, so he got people who were dying, right?
Duncan McDougall.
That's the guy, that's him. And he got people who were dying and put them on like weighing scales. Mm-hmm. And he reckoned that...
I've heard of this, I know what you're going to say, yeah.
Do you know what it was on? Who's the guy out of Fringe, man? The guy out of Fringe, he's out of Lord of the Rings as well, man. He eats the flipping grapes. Denethor, what's his name, man?
Oh, John, is it John something?
John something or other. And he, Strange But True or Scary But True or something like that. That TV programme. He did a bit on it.
John Noble,
yeah. Noble. I think it's Strange But True or Scary But True or something. He did it, and this guy apparently was trying to weigh souls, but they said in the end that, if you're actually looking for something, you can kind of really want it enough that the results are shown in a way that only you can interpret them as being correct.
Especially when it's not like 3 pounds all of a sudden later.
Yeah,
it's like just literally grams. Like
he really wanted to find that. That's what they're saying. He really wanted to see the soul weigh something. Anyway, so.
Well, that would make sense if the soul is energy, and you're saying that energy is mass.
Is mass, yeah.
So it would make sense for the soul to actually have a weight to it. So
a weight if it was converted, I suppose. If that energy was leaving, maybe. Maybe he just like shit himself and just drop off the side. I don't know. We haven't really talked about black holes yet, have we?
Fire away.
Yeah, arguably the most interesting thing.
Yeah, save the best. So right, what do you want to ask? I'm sure you've got questions, Phil. I'll see if I can answer them. If I can't, I'm sure David can look them up.
The whole idea of spaghettification.
Yeah.
Literally the real term for it as well.
Yeah.
Where it just like elongate. If something fell into a black hole, once it like approaches the center, it starts to just like elongate.
Yeah.
Like, could you would that actually stretch your fucking mind out? Like,
You would just. I think you would die instantly. My personal opinion. I mean,
Like as soon as your body was like warped.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
to
as
a
soon
tiny
as
extent, you're dead.
as soon as it started, you just dead on.
Like you wouldn't just be like, oh fuck, I'm in 2 parts now.
Yeah,
Like, oh fuck, I'm in 4. And then 8.
you wouldn't even think about it. I think you just die.
Yeah.
I don't think you think you'd have a chance. And what they're saying is now, right, that black holes remember everything they've eaten, type of thing. So like, basically, there's no like the black hole's not a tunnel. It's not a tunnel anywhere else.
No.
It's just to a singularity. It's to a point where all the mass and all the everything it's eaten is just goes to a singular point into a massive amount of density. So basically, if that, because there's been theories about white holes, so that when a black hole eats enough or something, I can't remember what actually happens, it starts spewing it all back out again. So everything that's been eaten is spewed back out again, all of the matter, everything like that.
Which is another like theory for the actual universe. Like,
yeah, I suppose.
like,
Yeah, I
like
suppose,
universe being.
I
like,
suppose it is, or
like the Big Bang effect.
or I suppose it could. Because everything could go back to.
Have white holes been detected?
They haven't been detected. It's just a theory at the minute. But 60, 70 years ago, black holes were just a theory, and now they've seen them.
Yeah.
So who's saying that then they don't exist? I mean, we could say like everything in the whole universe could go down to a black hole, and then a white hole could just spew it all back out again. You just never know.
So you know the vacuum of space,
Mhm.
like what appears to be like empty and all that kind of shit. Is a black hole like, actually eating that as well?
No, because there's no particles in the vacuum of space. It eats matter and particles.
So it
and,
doesn't eat.
It doesn't
space.
it doesn't eat space. No, it like eats. It eats things. It's got to eat something like energy, light.
Yeah.
Even though that has no mass, it can't escape. Unfortunately.
It's like some sort of giant monster of some sort of superhero movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just this thing going around, just
But then
eating solar systems.
Then there's another theory that, well, it's been proven that this happens, but they don't know. I'm going to talk about the end of days type of thing. So when everything's eaten by black holes and there's nothing left, there's the Hawking radiation that comes off a black hole. So in the quantum world, every particle has a twin, and one of them on the event horizon, one of them particles gets sucked in, and the other one gets expelled, and so that is matter actually escaping the black hole. So what they're saying is like the black hole is evaporating slowly and slowly, like billions and billions and billions of years it'll take obviously for this to happen. But if there was like billions of black holes just left in the universe, or they all became one, this one black hole would just evaporate, and then there would just be nothing.
And what implications would that have for like galaxies? Because isn't it like the general theory these days that supermassive black holes are at the centre of like most galaxies? So say if the one at the centre of ours evaporated, say if it all of a sudden disappeared now, would that actually have any implications for us?
But it would have implications for us because obviously the gravity would be all out of sync. That is the most gravitationally massive thing in our galaxy. So our galaxy would break apart, maybe? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
But, yeah, and this is the thing. Like, I wonder, would that actually
That couldn't happen.
affect our particular solar system?
Probably. I mean, I'm sure it would affect it in some way, shape, or form. Because Andromeda is going to collide with us in a few billion years. So
Yeah.
we could be knocked.
And that's the
We could
closest
be knocked
galaxy to
out.
us.
Yeah, we could be knocked out of the solar system. Sorry, not the solar system, but the solar system could be knocked out of.
Do you know what's gutting, right, about that? What I heard on one of these like space programs was, you know, when you've got Andromeda Galaxy and ours like colliding, they say that like you have this idea of like fucking worlds just smashing into each other. They reckon that like the chances are nothing would fucking hit in anything because space is so filled with space.
Yeah.
That,
They would all just pass each other.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I had
Pretty
this-
much that's what they're saying.
Like, I love this idea of like suns just going like boom, like, just cracking into each other, and planets are going whack. But they reckon, nah,
No,
too
nothing.
much fucking
yeah.
space in space. Twat.
Spoiling the fun, eh?
Oh no.
But going back to the black holes and evaporating and stuff, what I mean is the black holes, while at the end of time type of thing, they have eaten everything. Nothing's left. Just black holes. Then they eat each other, and then there's one black hole left, and then that evaporates, and then there's nothing
Except space.
except space. Yeah.
Just a massive, horrible vacuum of
And
shit.
I suppose there isn't any
But
time because there's no time to measure, or I don't know. I'm just speculating on that. But that's how. There's some theories it's called the Big Freeze.
Yeah, that's depressing. That
Yeah.
I'd rather the Big Crunch.
Yeah, the Big
Everything
Crunch
starts,
sounds.
like,
I've
coming
always
back over and-
I've always kind of held the Big Crunch in my heart and thought, yeah, that would be good. So like, gravity gets so, but see, it's accelerating.
yeah.
The speed of our universe like is expanding and accelerating. So the Big Crunch can never happen. If it was slowing down and comes back in like an elastic band, then you'd probably think, yeah, man, maybe the Big Crunch is going to happen. Like Big Crunch being, just for those of you who don't know,
I
like,
don't know.
well,
Never heard of it before.
so basically, Edwin Hubble discovered that because of the Doppler effect, things travelling away from you, right, give off a little bit of red light because of the way the spectrum, the colour spectrum goes, right. I think is it red infrared lights shorter and blue lights longer or something. But anyway, things that are travelling away from you have got a little bit of red tinge, and things that are travelling towards you have got a little bit of a blue tinge. Not noticeable on the naked eye, but telescopes can detect it.
And this is what they call redshift.
Redshift, yeah. So like when things are travelling away from you, they're a little bit red. That's what Edwin Hubble discovered. And one of the only ones that was travelling towards us is the Andromeda Galaxy, funnily enough. So that's how he knew. So everything was travelling away, and that's how he found out. That's how he discovered. Obviously, well, if it's travelling away, it must have been at one point, at some point in time. That's how the Big Bang Theory came about. But what they've also discovered is actually it's the universe is speeding up, the expansion, and
Yeah, because things further away are moving
faster,
further away.
yeah, faster and faster, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what they're saying is that the Big Crunch, it all coming back down to a point, getting so far and then come back down to a point, that could never happen. It's probably going to be a big freeze.
And like the other like aspect of that theory, that Big Crunch idea, though, where like time just like reverses and then we all come back to life, but like effectively birthed from death. and you
birthed from death, so time stops and just goes back.
yeah, and like, everything just like reverses, like you know, if you just effectively press rewind on like a
and you live your life back again,
whatever.
like a Benjamin Button type thing.
Yeah, but they reckon like
I die an old baby.
you die young baby, wouldn't it? Because your birth
Yeah,
can become your death.
Yeah,
Your death becomes your birth, and your birth becomes
that's
your death.
creepy. Yeah,
That would be weird.
That's awful.
it's horrible. What a horrible idea.
thought, that is.
Yeah, every shag you have starts with you coming. Damn it!
Do you think it's going to be possible for one day for humans, if the state of this planet becomes far too bad and we've got to leave for whatever reason, or we're just trying to expand as human beings? Do you think it's going to be possible to terraform another planet, i.e. Mars, and move?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. I think that'll happen within the next 100 years.
really.
100%, definitely. Think about it, man. Think about what we had 100 years ago. Back in, so when we were 1914.
World War One.
Fucking hell, man. We didn't even have, like, a computer,
No.
like, 100 years ago. So, think about what it's going to be like in 100 years' time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to have quantum computers, and quantum, I mean, like, you know how I was talking about every particle has like a twin type of thing. What they're saying is with quantum, I'm explaining it very, very, like, roughly here and very vaguely. What they're saying is if these quantum particles have a twin, right, you can communicate with these particles. So if it gives a little wiggle, the other one will wiggle type of thing, and like so your actual messages can travel faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because they react instantaneously.
Yeah, to each other because they're inexplicably linked in. See, quantum world's just a bit fucked up. I don't really know what I'm going on about here, 100%. But what they're saying is, like, if you had a quantum computer, if things talk to each other faster than the speed of light, then these computers are going to be so fucking fast.
Yeah.
And that's what they're saying, and that'll happen within the next probably 30 years.
Well, just look at a few years. Wait, I say a few years. It wasn't a few years back. But if you think there's people shouting like bitches outside.
It's children as well. Dave already hates children.
I hate kids.
This is school's out, guys.
What was I saying? If you go back a few years and you see dial-up.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Just to make that strange noise. and you had to be connected into your computer and into the telephone
Right.
line.
Saved by
And
the
now
Bell.
look at broadband.
Saved by the Bell. Can you remember Saved by the Bell?
You're gonna mention the phones, yeah?
Look at the
Mobiles.
fucking phone. Look at the size of
Huge.
Look at the size of Zach's phone.
It's
It was the
mad.
size of a fucking like twice the size of a laptop. He's the coolest thing ever. No, that was back when I was a kid, and like you know what I mean. I'm only 27, so like think about. Am I giving too much information to the listeners? Yeah, are you going to
No,
stop
no,
me?
it's
You're going to
fine.
stop me, Ryan, 27 years old. One way he's from.
He's a sugar daddy. No, if you look at people now walking around with iPhones, we're all walking around with mini computers
Yeah,
that can do so much. You can do everything. They've got compasses on them, maps, connections. You can ring somebody in Australia. It's mad when you think about it in real time.
There was this thing I read. I'm going a little bit off subject here, but I'm staying on slightly. I was looking at this thing about a restaurant, which wonders why its productivity has went down from 10 years ago, right? So 10 years ago, people would sit down, they would take 5 minutes to order, 5 minutes to get the food, 20 minutes to eat or something. So the total time elapsed would be like say 45 minutes or half an hour when they've ate their food. But now, people would sit down, have a look on their phone, take a picture of what they were eating, ask to connect to the Wi-Fi, all that sort of stuff, right? They found out by looking at video cameras from 10 years ago to now, and so that you're taking like literally double the time to eat your food than what you did 10 years ago, and they're wondering why productivity had went down in the restaurant. It's not productivity, it's just people just taking pictures of their food and Instagramming it and asking for pictures of their mates on their phone and shit like that. That's the age we're in now.
It's because we've all got access to that sort of technology and the camera where everybody's taking pictures of everything all the time. We didn't have that a few years back. I mean, you'd look daft if you got your digital camera out when you're in Nando's, where there wouldn't have been a Nando's back then.
Camera.
But if you're in some restaurant back in the day, TGI Fridays or something, and you were taking a picture with your digital camera of your meal, but now everybody's doing it.
Or one of those fucking
uploading it
Kodak
for likes.
things that
Yeah.
actually class.
Which ones?
They're the ones that actually print the photo.
Yeah, it's like
like and you have to like dry it up and shit.
Yeah.
Hi guys, look. Hi guys, my Insta camera. Check out this.
They shouldn't have fucking died out them. That's
I've still got one.
It's an art form, that now.
I've
It's
still
like
got
classic vintage.
Oh,
sort of
it's
photography.
fucking like
I mean-
hipster shit, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks shit
Oh,
realistically these days, really. It's
Yeah.
just the novelty of having that vintage sort of, you know.
I just
it's
like
the
photo
nostalgia.
albums.
The nostalgia.
It is,
related
it's
to it.
nostalgia. I agree.
Well, thanks for shooting me down there, guys. I cancelled my order for a
You are
fucking
more
Kodak.
For a Kodak Polaroid.
Polaroid. That's the one.
Yeah, so I mean, don't really know much else, guys, unless you've got any questions. Any questions? Q&A.
It's time for a Q&A with Ryan.
If you were a star, which one would you be?
What's your favourite
That-
planet, mate?
What's your favourite planet, son? If I was a star, what would I be? Which star would I be?
Actually, if you were anything in the universe, what would you be?
Anything.
Do you know what it is?
Pressure's
Right,
on.
Get this. There's going to be geeks out here who are going to love this. If I was anything in the universe, I'd be, I am Dr. Manhattan off Watchmen,
Oh, yeah.
the blue guy.
Yeah.
If you know what he is, he can walk on the surface of the sun. He can build on shit on Mars. I would be him, because I can go anywhere and see anything. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be brilliant.
I'll have to Google that motherfucker.
Have you not seen Watchmen?
No.
Another great film. Another great
Sorry,
film,
guys,
listeners. Another great film.
It's a long film.
If you get the extended edition, it's even longer.
What's the
Sat
general
through it.
like premise of that film?
It's like a comic book.
It's based on a graphic novel, yeah.
Yeah, it's a comic book.
Who wrote the graphic novel? It was him that wrote From Hell as well. He doesn't like his work being turned into movies. Every time one of his films has been turned into a film, he's complained every single
he?
day. There's nothing that's being translated on the film that he likes.
Yeah.
Including...
You'd imagine he could stop that then. Like, yeah, dicks, that's my
Obviously,
fucking
he doesn't
idea.
have the rights.
I was
He
going to
doesn't
say
have
he
the
doesn't own the rights.
He's own
just-
shit.
Yeah, probably not.
That's so fucking gutting.
I'm trying to find out.
I love tangents on
He's a
2G,
funny looking
1G.
bloke as well.
Dude.
Alan Moore. Alan Moore, that's him.
Alan Moore.
That old prick.
Looks like an old kind of creep.
Wait, what the
Fucking hell.
fuck?
Hello, Dumbledore
He's
slash
dead?
Gandalf.
There he is.
What an awful man.
But he's I will give him his due, he's very, very intelligent there. He wrote The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Watchmen, V for
But
Vendetta.
let's be honest, right? The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was fucking fucking
That
horrendous.
is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
But V for Vendetta was good.
Yeah, it's alright. It's okay.
I enjoyed V for Vendetta.
It's a good. Do you know who was meant to be the lead in that? Originally?
James Purefoy.
My God, this guy's on the ball.
And,
No, it was.
and also, did you know that some scenes in that movie are
It's
still
him.
James Purefoy,
Bitch,
just
come
with
on.
Hugo Weaving's voice?
Yes.
Again, I don't know who the fuck you guys are talking. Nice name though, Purify.
Purefoy.
Solomon Kane.
Yeah. Rome.
My God,
What a
Rome.
fall.
Have
If you like a bit of sex and a bit of killing, watch Rome.
Have you seen that Rome?
What?
The TV series Rome.
What? No.
You've never seen the TV series Rome?
I've not seen Rome. Never in all my days.
You need to watch it.
I've seen New Delhi, and that's about it.
So,
Casually
yeah.
racist, Phil.
No, we're just
That's kind of
stereotypical,
racist.
David. We're just stereotypical.
Of course.
The reason people are stereotypical is because there are stereotypes.
Correct.
Yes.
So I don't see why anyone gets.
I think we're fucking almost proof of that. The fact that we're both wearing exactly the same outfit. White guys all wear fucking joggers and white
Yeah,
t-shirts.
you're in your sweatpants and your fucking t-shirts.
Asshole.
You fucking white trash.
Blimey bastards.
So yeah, but yeah, it's the reason there's stereotypes is because there are stereotypes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people act like
I think the
There's
idea of racism these days is beyond insane as
fucking
well.
like politically correctness is just fucking ridiculous
Yeah.
nowadays, man. I just watched a video actually of this woman at about 4 dead Americans or something like that. It's been on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen it. And this woman asked this Muslim woman, said like, why are Muslims not being represented? And it was just had nothing to do with the Americans dying. And this woman tore at a new arsehole. It was fucking amazing. And it wasn't like saying, you know, all Muslims are dicks and all this sort of shit, because they're not. But like, apparently 75% of Muslims are peace-loving people, but like 15 to 25% aren't, and that's 300 million people in this world that are radicalists, or around about 300 million
That's
people.
not cool.
That is not good. Who want the West to fall,
Which is
pretty
really not cool.
bad. That's pretty bad. You know, the population of America, I don't know, maybe something like that, wants the West to fall. That type of number.
Yeah, I'm kind of not on board with that.
Not
It
good.
kind of doesn't do me any favors.
why is there so much hatred? Do you know what I mean? It's just
I don't know.
it's awful.
It's
fucking
religion, isn't it? Everyone with an atheist will be alright. Everyone's just like me.
Yes, religion. I feel exactly the same way in terms of religion being a big divider in terms of sanity and insanity. People look too much into something that is just so flawed. And
I just like what Ike pointed out. He was actually quoting somebody else when he said this, but that religion destroys spirituality. Like modern day religion does actually like fucking get rid of actual like spirituality in a human. You know what I mean? Like just look at the way people behave, like Christians and shit like that. Like
Yeah, I mean, I've got respect for people's beliefs and like what they believe in and stuff, and I've got no problem with that. But just don't push it in my face.
just don't blow up in front of us.
Don't like if I say I'm an atheist, don't look down on us. It's my belief. It's not your fucking belief. I'm not forcing it upon you. I'm not saying you're a fucking dick for being a Christian or a Muslim. I'm an atheist.
you're a fucking dick.
Yeah,
You're a fucking dick for being a Jew, you know?
yeah. So you know,
Fucking understand me, prick?
don't force it down my throat.
Well, Ryan, this has been wonderful and so much more.
We went off on a bit of a tangent at the end.
That's
A
fine.
little bit.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned a lot of things from this. Space has always amazed me, but I'll be honest, I've never known too much about it. It's just the idea of it. And
I can't believe how much he actually knows about space. I thought it was just
you know
going
a
to
lot
be
more
random
than I
facts.
thought. You know,
Do you know what it is? I've kind of shocked myself tonight. Oh shit, I'm fucking real. I've remembered. And I suppose if I wanted to do a PhD, a real PhD, not one of those fake ones that I got.
You got a fake one?
No, not really.
Like download.
Yeah, I just told Phil I had one. That was my fake PhD.
In neuroscience though.
It's not even space.
That was his claim.
I've got a PhD in neuroscience. Yeah. Just sounds good. Sorry. Carry on.
Well, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. As always, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram now. 2 Guys, 1 Garage Podcast. And we look forward to speaking to you on the next one. Ryan, any final thoughts? Jerry Springer style final thought?
Well, what I'd like to say, it's been good. I've really enjoyed it. Actually, just talking shit for like however long it's fucking been. It's been fucking out. It's been like over an hour. Yeah, thank you for having me, and I'd love to come again.
You will come again.
Excellent.
I will come again.
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow, maybe.
Phil, sir, any final words?
Yeah, been fantastic. Space easily the most interesting topic out there. Gotta be, you know.
And we've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
We have.
I know.
It's the tip of the iceberg, lads.
So much more, as always, to talk about.
We'll have to get you back to
Yeah,
discuss
you
more.
have to come back, man.
Yeah.
Well, good night, everyone.
We love you.
God bless.
Farewell.